It starts in the heat of summer and ends in winter's first chill. In between is joy, pain, winning, losing. In many ways, a football season is a metaphor for life itself. And so tonight, Bishop Dwenger and Mishawaka aren't just playing for a berth in the state finals. They're playing for one more week. One more week of being special. One more week of family and camaraderie and brotherhood. One more week of being together. And it's next on 46. The final exit on the road to Indianapolis is here at Steele Stadium in Mishawaka, where tonight the Mishawaka Cavemen entertain the Saints of Bishop Dwenger in the Class 4A semi-state here on TV 46. And how you doing, everybody? Between the Hall of Famers Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby, and it's great to have you with us for what promises to be an exciting night of football here on 46. Bob, the Bishop Dwenger Saints are no stranger to this stage. They've been in 10 semi-states before. This year, though, with a brand new coach in Jason Garrett, and none of these kids have been to a state final before.
No, they haven't, but they've been to school for a while. You've got a lot of seniors on this team and a lot of great talent. And, you're going to mention the name Tippmann a few times tonight. Running backs, defensive backs, linebackers. It's a very talented team. Again, the veterans really help out. They had a little bit of change early in the season with the quarterbacks, but they've gotten to a point where they are really ready to go. And I know that one of the things about Jason Garrett is he's very complimentary about the team he's playing tonight, the Mishawaka Cavemen.
Outstanding team. Outstanding team. Obviously very well coached, physical, fast. It starts with their offense and what they can do there, and we just hope to slow them down a little bit. And then defensively, physically fast, sound, 4-3, 4-4 type of looks, and special teams are sound, so coach has done an outstanding job.
These two teams have a lot in common, Bob. Both have first-year coaches. Both have a great pedigree, and both love to run the football, and for Mishawaka, that's really the bread and butter.
Well, Chris Harness, good news, is ready to go tonight, which we were a little concerned about midweek. He got a little banged up last week. And Sam Shively is a great leader and also a very good runner, but I think the two groups that you got to keep an eye on tonight and probably haven't gotten as much credit this year as they deserve. The offensive line, very close-knit group. These guys have played together for a long time. And their defense, they've got a lot of really sharp, smart kids on defense that know what they're supposed to do, their responsibilities. They've come up with big plays all year.
13 may not be a uniform number you see for Mishawaka tonight, but it's a very important number to Keith Kinder and the Cavemen.
Well, it hasn't happened in school history before, and we've been telling our kids that the year that they've had so far is up there with the Mishawaka great teams. Tonight puts them in a league of their own. So that's kind of been our challenge for the week. We haven't talked about next week, but we've talked about the goals within this program and what it would mean for this team in the grand picture of the program. So really excited for our kids to have an opportunity to play in this game. As someone that got to play in the game next week, I hope like crazy that they get to experience that.
Once again tonight, the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Bo Hunt patrols the sidelines for us. You played in a couple of these semi-states. You won and you lost. Is it a fine line between the two?
Not a big fine line between the two. I think the biggest thing is when you're coming out here, there's a couple things you want to look at. And Keith Kinder made a good point about it is when you get to this point, the team you're playing, the opponent you're playing is a very good team. They couldn't have got to this point if they didn't beat some really quality teams, played together as a team, won as a team, and came here and defined their season with that. The other thing that I look at is looking past this week. He talked about not talking about next week. You can't look at next week and say, man, it'd be great to finish my career down there in the state finals. God knows it would be great to finish your game, your final season down at the state championship. But you can't think about that at this moment. You have to think about that tomorrow. You can't think about that tonight. whether you get up in the game, you get up maybe 10, 14 points, you can't think about that. You got to think about tonight, play for tonight, think about that tomorrow.
And really, as we mentioned in the open, they are playing for one more week. These are two teams that are very close-knit, and they want to keep that camaraderie going. We've got the Jordan Automotive Keys to Win next on the 46 Game of the Week.
WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by Thor Industries, Bethel College Admissions, Teachers Credit Union, Bill's Heating, Jordan Auto Group, IU South Bend, Electrical Workers Local 153, JV Macri Orthodontics, Crown Trophy, Imagineering Finishing Technologies, and the IHSAA.
And this edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by the Jordan Auto Group. Simple, easy, stress-free. And here come the Mishawaka Cavemen out onto Steel Stadium. They'll come over to their student body where they'll play the fight song, part of the tradition they have here. It's a very close-knit team. Time now to look at our keys to win, brought to you by the aforementioned Jordan Auto Group. Let's start with the Dwenger Saints, who come in here with a ground and pound mentality, and their leading running back on the year is a sophomore by the name of Devin Tippmann. He has rushed for 1,086 yards and 6 touchdowns. He had 221 on the ground against Angola in the regional win last week. And then on defense, they've got a strong core of linebackers headed up by the senior T.J. McGarry. 76 tackles, including 9 sacks. He's an all-Summit Athletic Conference pick and headed to Columbia next year. The keys to win for Jason Garrett and the Saints.
Well, Chuck, they have to stop the running game, and guess what? That's what Mishawaka does well. Got to be careful not to overplay because they could get burned. Mishawaka can do that. They got to be efficient on offense. 5 or 6 guys in the mix, and they've got depth. Make plays on special teams. It could be a big factor. It's been a challenge for Mishawaka, although the Cavemen have been playing better. Jason Garrett, first-year head coach, 12-1 heading into tonight's game.
For the Mishawaka Cavemen, you've seen them a couple of times on TV 46 this year, and you know they are all about running the option, and they have the school's all-time rushing leader in Chris Harness. Harness, the 5', 775-pound senior, the second running back in the state of Indiana in terms of rushing yards this year with 2,642 and 26 touchdowns. He's playing with a bone bruise in his foot tonight. He'll need help from his quarterback, Sam Shively. It's been there all year. Shively has rushed for 1,074 yards. He's thrown for 396 more, and between running and passing, he has accounted for 31 touchdowns this season. The keys to win for Keith Kinder and the Cavemen.
Got to take care of the football, Chuck. We've seen them over the course of the season. We've had them on 3 times, and they do put the ball on the ground. Can't do it tonight. Can't rely on a good bounce in a big game like this. They got to make Dwenger march the ball. No big plays if they can avoid it. Make them earn everything they get. And big-time players make big-time plays. You know about Sam Shively. You know about Chris Harness. Is there another hero? Somebody ready to step up tonight and help Keith Kinder get his team to the state championship game in his first year. Keith Kinder, 12-1. In his first year at the helm of the Mishawaka Cavemen.
You see that American flag being carried by the Bishop Dwenger Saints as they come out. It was sent to the Saints by the brother of Charlie Howe, one of their linebackers, actually his uncle, and his uncle just returned from Kuwait on Monday and donated that flag to the team. What a great story, and we're so happy that he is back home. The weather tonight at Steel Stadium, well, it's a vast improvement over what we experienced last week for the regional. 38 degrees at game time. The wind is out of the west at 6 miles an hour, and the good news is there is no chance of precipitation tonight. That snow, that came yesterday, and it got cleared off the field by a multitude of folks from Mishawaka.
You take a look at the series history here. First meeting between these two teams. Dwenger has won 10 semi-states. Mishawaka has won 1. And so there is a history there at Dwenger. They expect to be at this level. They've been here a lot. But again, 2 first-year head coaches. So we're going to see a real effort by teams that have really bought into what their coaches are teaching them.
Well, and the interesting thing about both these two first-year head coaches, they were both offensive coordinators for their teams last year. Jason Garrett at Dwenger and Keith Kinder here at Mishawaka. They both have a baseball pedigree. Jason Garrett has been the baseball coach at Dwenger, now getting ready to enter his 6th year. He's going to continue doing that duty. Keith Kinder, as we learned a couple of weeks ago with St. Joe, grew up as a baseball player, was an outstanding baseball player at Jimtown, and even though he won 2 state titles as a football player at Jimtown, a lot of people think Keith was a much better baseball player than he was a football player.
Well, and again, you could be a real good high school football player and not be 6'4", 6'5", and 220 like a lot of the big-time college players are. He did a great job, and he executed. You know, Chuck, before the game, it's so good to see Bill Sharp here. Also good to see Bart Curtis here. A lot of guys have come back, and they're wrapping around their arms around these guys, and especially Keith Kinder. He was a Jimmy, and now he's a caveman, and got his team in a great position.
You take a look at Chris Harness walking off the field. Mishawaka won the toss and elected to receive. Dwenger will kick south to north, right to left on your television screens here at Steele Stadium. The winner of this one plays in the Class 4A state championship game next Friday afternoon at Lucas Oil Stadium. You'll see all 6 state championship games live from Lucas Oil on TV 46.
Mishawaka will receive the opening kickoff. And again, the special teams at times have been a challenge, at times have been a blessing for the Cavemen. Need them to play well tonight. Dwenger will kick off and defend the goal to the south here. Got the big screen TV behind him. I can't say enough about Dean Hubbard and Ryan Watson, Jerome Calderon, everybody in Mishawaka, what they did today to get this stadium ready. And they were shoveling off the annex over here on the side before the ball game. The plaza was cleaned up, and it makes it really nice. We're ready to go. Here to call this semi-state championship game, my partner, our Family Broadcasting Corporation Sports Director, Chuck Freeby.
John Paul Filler gets ready to put toe to leather. Mishawaka with 2 deep men, and we are underway in the 4A semi-state on 46. Mishawaka will take the ball back at the 7-yard line. C.J. Fisher met by a wall of white jerseys at about the 21, and that's where Mishawaka will take over 1st and 10 with Sam Shively at the controls at quarterback.
21, Patrick Finley on the tackle.
Patrick Finley in on the special teams tackle for Dwenger, a young man that they just got back in the lineup a couple of weeks ago after he broke his collarbone earlier in the season. So you see Shively, the senior, run the Cavemen out onto the field. Shively, 3-sport athlete, gonna play baseball at Taylor University, but leading this Mishawaka team this year from the quarterback position and well respected by his teammates. It's an option attack here for Mishawaka. And Shively under center, hands it off to Chris Harness, and Harness goes up the middle for about 2 yards on the carry as we meet the Mishawaka offense. And we've told you about Shively and Harness. Brad Taylor had the game-winning touchdown against Lowell. Donovan Snyder's had some key yards this year. The offensive line, as Bob mentioned, the unsung heroes of this team, led by the big man at guard, Sam Reisky. There you see Harness, the senior fullback, on 2nd and 8. Shively pitches out, and this is Donovan Snyder getting around the outside and going up to the 29, and we've got a flag in on the play, thrown at about the 26-yard line. We'll see what this is all about. It'll give us a chance to meet our officials tonight. Chris Walsh, Nick Pappas, David Slipsinski, Mitch Orsburn, and Dino Spiritus, and holding called against the Cavemen. I think it might have been on one of the outside people, perhaps Brody Robinette, excuse me.
I like the play. I like the execution. Picked up 6, but are going to lose 10 from the spot of the foul.
So it'll push him back to the 16-yard line. The down remains 2nd down. But now it's 2nd and 15. Shively looking over to the sidelines to get the play from offensive coordinator Kyle Shaw. Everybody checks the wristband as Dwenger comes set on defense. Dwenger with 9 in the box. The handoff trying to go up the middle, and not much there against the wall of Dwenger defense, as Harness had the carry that time. And it looked like TJ McGarry was there for the stop, and he leads this team in tackles. Jordan Watercutter has been the top defensive lineman in terms of stops this season, but the linebackers pick up most of the damage. And then you look in that secondary, and Griffin Eifert has had 4 interceptions so far this season for a Dwenger team that has not allowed more than 21 points to a team all season. 3rd and 14. Shively looking to throw. Rolls out and threw it over the head of Harness, who was well covered on the play anyway. 4th down in a punting situation for Keith Kinder's offense. The holding penalty really did some damage to the Cavemen on this first possession.
All those little things tonight, Chuck, are going to be big in this ball game. They can stop a drive. They can take away some momentum. Mishawaka did what they wanted to do in the first series. They tried to run the ball, had a little bit of success. It would have been 3rd down and about 2 without the penalty.
Patton Snyder does the punting for Mishawaka, about a 37-yard average. Patrick Finley and Griffin Eifert are the deep men for the Dwenger Saints. Snyder takes the snap and hits one off the side of his foot, but it'll take an advantageous roll for Mishawaka and go out of bounds at the Dwenger 47-yard line. So actually not that bad a punt, 36 yards with no return, but good field position for Dwenger as they take the field with their sophomore quarterback Brendan Lytle at the helm. Lytle took over the job about midway through the year when Patrick O'Keefe got hurt at quarterback. And Lytle, we were told by offensive coordinator Mark Watts, the former Elkhart Memorial head coach before the game, very strong-armed young man and very competent. I formation for Dwenger as they come out of the huddle on 1st and 10. And the handoff to the tail of the tandem, and it's Devin Tippmann tripped up on a beautiful tackle by C.J. Fisher at the 49-yard line. Pick up of 2 on the play, and we'll meet that Dwenger offense right now. Tippmann, we told you about. Lucas Crone, a blocking fullback. The leading receiver among the starters would be Patrick O'Keefe, but Griffin Eifert has 17 coming off the bench in that offensive line. Massive, led by the Wisconsin Badgers commit Joe Tippmann. 2nd and 8. Lytle hands it off to Tippmann again, but we've got flags thrown and whistles blown and a false start called on Dwenger.
Well, first penalty for the Saints tonight. Both teams with 1 penalty on their first series. And Chuck, one of the things you talk about with the Dwenger Saints is they do have a couple of sophomores that are key players on this team. Now they've got veterans, but their quarterback, one of the running backs, young guys. It's a big game for them.
First quarter tonight brought to us by our friends at Bub Funeral Chapel. It is 2nd and 13 for the Saints. Lytle wants to throw. Blitz coming, picked up, and he finds Finley over the middle at the 41-yard line. He's got the first down up to the 40. So Dwenger did a good job of picking up the blitz from the Cavemen, and Finley makes his 4th catch of the year as the 6', 180-pound junior popped wide open. You'll see it here on the Bethel College Admissions replay.
Looking to overcome the lost yardage. He threw off his back foot, but he had a man wide open. Mishawaka coverage was good in that they had him surrounded, but nice catch by Finley.
It was Grant Jablonski on the tackle for Mishawaka. So here's Lytle pitching to Tippmann. Tippmann cuts it inside and falls forward after the tackle from Derek Dawson. Gets all the way up to the 32-yard line. That's a pickup of 8 on the play as we meet the Caveman defense. Thomas Frayling has had a terrific year at defensive end with 9 sacks. Much like Dwenger, the linebackers do the bulk of the tackling for Mishawaka. Derek Dawson, big country, having a great junior year. And then in that secondary, the leading tackler, C.J. Fisher, with over 100 stops this season at the roverback position. Lytle comes out under center at 2nd and 2. Tippmann again up the middle, big hole, first down up to the 25. Fisher with the stop, but my oh my, did that big Dwenger offensive line open up some holes up front with Alex Kolkman, the center, who is an all-conference player, leading the way on that 6-yard pickup.
16 yards and 3 carries for Tippmann so far.
You take a look at that Dwenger offensive line. They have 3 all-conference linemen among their 5 that go from tackle to tackle. And it's Tippmann again, this time off the left side, met by a wall of maroon and finally brought down at the 23-yard line to pick up a 3 on the play. It looked like there was a huge hole that time, and then Mishawaka closed it up well with Joe Willis making the stop.
Almost looked like somebody heard a whistle or something. It almost seemed like everybody was like almost stopping here for a second. Tippmann standing upright, got hit pretty good.
Willis actually bounced up off the ground, came back behind him and made the stop on the play. So very nice play by the Mishawaka defensive end to force a 2nd and 8. And Lytle wants to throw. Has time, it's a bullet, it's complete. And again, it's Finley on the catch for a first down. Jablonski makes the stop, but not until Patrick Finley gives Dwenger 1st and goal at the Mishawaka 10. You get another look from Bethel College admissions. And look at the time that Lytle had to stare down his receiver, and he put it right on the numbers for Finley, who already has 2 catches tonight.
Both of them 16-yarders, so 32 yards passing for Bishop Dwenger.
Finley, a speedy track man, and so Mishawaka giving him some cushion, and he's taking advantage of it. Lytle now with a full house backfield. They've got a jumbo backfield back there. This is another Tippmann carrying the football. This is Travis Tippmann TJ Tippmann, excuse me, on the carry. And TJ bounces only for a yard pickup to the 9-yard line. TJ, a senior, an all-conference at-large player, has had 11 straight games with a touchdown.
7th play of the drive on that 1-yard carry, Chuck, and Mishawaka, one of the things, the keys to win was to make him earn it. And so far, Mishawaka's been maybe not soft, but just playing back a little bit, trying to be protected. They know that Dwenger likes to do a lot of different things.
And again, Tippmann on the carry, takes it on up to the 5-yard line, but I'm intrigued by this alignment in the backfield for the Dwenger Saints. They have really put a jumbo package back there, moving Joe Tippmann, their big tackle, into the backfield in front of TJ Tippmann.
Little family reunion, they could do a lot of that in this team.
Well, there are 8 Tippmanns on the roster, and there are 16 Tippmann relatives in the Dwenger roster. You see that big backfield. They hand it off to Tippmann again, and Derek Dawson with a slobber knocker at the 7. Dawson came vaulting over to make the stop, and now let's see if Dwenger will send out the field goal unit as you get another look at the Dawson hit from Bethel College admissions.
Never got back to the line of scrimmage.
So Michael Garrett, the coach's son, who is 5 for 6 on field goals this year, will try one in the middle of the dirt patch there. It'll be about a 24-yard attempt. The 5'10 senior, snap a little high, the kick is up, and it is good. So the Dwenger Saints take advantage of good field position and march down the field, but Mishawaka stiffens and holds them to a field goal. 4:43 to go, first quarter. Keith Kinder's team finds itself trailing 3-0 in the semi-state on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by Thor Industries, the world's largest RV manufacturer. So the Mishawaka defense was able to stiffen and hold Dwenger to just a field goal. 3-0 ball game, but still an impressive drive by the Saints.
Really was, Chuck. They went 46 yards in 10 plays. They picked up 3 first downs. A couple of big pass plays, both for 16 yards on the way. But again, a big play by Mishawaka. And again, we're looking for heroes. That tackle for negative yardage on 3rd down and 5 was a huge play for Mishawaka.
He knifed in behind that jumbo package that had been put in the backfield and read the play well. So John Paul Filler gets ready to kick it off again. And Filler's high spinning kick headed towards the sideline, and it goes out of bounds, and that's a break for Mishawaka as they'll get good field position out of this. For the Cavemen this year, started off with a tough trip up to Chicago and Marist. They lost 27-24. It would be their only loss of the season. And then, of course, we saw their big win in overtime over the Penn Kingsmen on October 12th. 49-42. The Tourney Trail, it's been a difficult one. They squeaked by the St. Joe Indians in the sectional final, 27-23. And then last week here at Steele Stadium, picking up the win over Lowell by the count of 28-14 on a snowy regional Friday.
Mishawaka offense really packing it in tight. Not very wide from tackle to end, but that's how they are effective.
And they hand it off to Chris Harness. And again, plenty of Dwenger players there waiting for Harness in the middle of the field. And he's lucky to pick up about a yard. That Dwenger defense has been strong all year, and it's showing that kind of signs in the early going.
When you're very one-dimensional, and Mishawaka has been all year, it's tough to run when they're saying that. We don't care what else you're doing. We're tackling Harness every play. They did get a 6-yard carry on the pitch sweep. We'll see if Shively doesn't get involved here.
Harness carried the ball 37 times last week in the regional. There's Shively behind the ISO block, and Shively trying to keep his feet but getting pushed back well by TJ McGarry. And Shively will be marked for forward progress up at the 43-yard line and give Mishawaka a 3rd and 2. That kind of ISO blocking has been successful for the Cavemen for much of the season, and now Mishawaka wants to up the tempo a little bit.
Big carry by Shively on his first grab for the night. He is a strong, strong young man. He's really gotten in the weight room while he's been at Mishawaka, not only helping him in football, but all his other sports.
They'll hand it to Harness, and he plows right behind that line, and he's awfully close to the first down stripe. He had to get to the 45. I'm trying to see where the line judge is, and it looks like the line judge has the nose of that football just short of the 45-yard line. And don't be surprised if they call for the chains here.
Yeah, well, you know, you start at the 35, so unless the lines are crooked.
Well, and that's possible considering the snow we had on the field today.
They may come out and give this a measurement. I don't know, Mishawaka, they would go for it here early. They're out to about getting close to midfield. We'll see what happens. We do want to thank the folks at Culver's of Mishawaka. They fed our production crew tonight. Make sure you stop by Culver's of Mishawaka for their fabulous made-to-order burgers, and for a limited time, they have sweet potato fries. Culver's of Mishawaka is a proud supporter of Mishawaka High School sports and wishes the Mishawaka team good luck in the game tonight. Culver's, welcome to Delicious.
Inches short, 4th down. Mishawaka is 23 of 30 on 4th downs this season. So you pretty much know Keith Kinder's going to go for it here. And whether you're watching our live stream tonight in Florida or Ohio, we appreciate R&B Car Company sponsoring the live stream this evening. And we hope you're enjoying it as you get a good look at where that ball sits. Ethan Sargent, the center, gets over it. Let's see if they go with Shively right behind center or give it to Harness.
Maybe to put some emotion, see if they can draw him offside.
Shively behind the center, but we've got flags thrown, and it may be it's offsides on Dwenger. So whether they jumped or whether they lined up offside, either way, it's a first down for Mishawaka, sponsored by R&B Car Company.
Second penalty of the night against Dwenger, 5-yarder, and I think, fairness to Shively, he had the first down if the play had gone ahead.
So they'll spot it just on the Caveman side of the midfield stripe. Dwenger with a 3-0 lead here, late first quarter. Harness takes the handoff and bursts through the hole for about 4 yards before he's brought down. Nice tackling that time by Dwenger. Making the stop was Hayden Ellinger, the outside linebacker.
Kind of put a guy in motion that time, Chuck. Any little diversion they can get to maybe freeze the linebacker is going to help with the running game up front with Harness.
2nd down and 6, and the one nice thing about this drive right now for Mishawaka, by picking up a first down, you've given your defense a little bit of chance on the sideline there as you see them to catch their breath. Shively keeps it himself and scoots forward for about 4 yards on the play. McGarry, the linebacker, makes the stop, but this is right in the wheelhouse of this Mishawaka offense, looking at 3rd and 2.
11 yards on 2 carries for Shively. Folks, Imagineering Finishing Technologies is a world-class metal finishing company specializing in plating, coating, testing, and consulting services. 59 years as the knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. You can reach us at info@iftworldwide.com.
3rd and 2. Dwenger has 10 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Shively keeps it himself and turns the corner for the first down. Pitches now, and off to the races is Donovan Snyder. Snyder still on his feet all the way up to the 20-yard line. It's a first down sponsored by R&B Car Company. That looked very close to a forward pass, and in fact, I think it may have been. Our truck says the replay will show that indeed that ball went forward.
Winds up being a carry all the way down from the
22-yard pickup, but here's Shively pitching the ball from the 36, and it goes up to the 35. That should have been an illegal forward pass.
Wow. I don't know who you give all the credit on the rush to.
I believe it gets split up, but I'm no statistician. You are. Here's the Shively keeping the football and weaving his way through traffic, and Sam Shively has another first down sponsored by R&B Car Company as they take it inside the Dwenger 10. 10-yard pickup for the shifty Mishawaka quarterback.
Believe me, if you're worried about Harness saying, hey, I'm not getting as many carries as I want, hey, if you want to use me as a decoy, go ahead. What a nice run by Shively. He's really got himself going now.
Shively has had some big games rushing the football this year, including 104 against Adams and 157 against Penn. He hands it off to Harness here, and there's nowhere to go this time as Harness is bottled up after a pickup of 1. Look at the number of Dwenger jerseys getting up, including big number 65, Joe Tipman.
21 yards on 3 carries for Shively. Harness, 10 yards on his first 5 carries.
It'll be 2nd and goal. Ball spotted between the 8 and 9-yard lines. And Mishawaka, let's see if they decide to run another play. They don't have to. The play clock just a shade longer than the quarter clock. So it's Shively's choice here as he brings his team to the line of scrimmage. And they didn't get the play off in time. The quarter has come to an end here at Steele Stadium in Mishawaka. A very quick first quarter because there wasn't a whole lot of throwing. Dwenger completed a couple passes on its opening drive and helped convert it into 3 points. The Bishop Dwenger Saints have a 3-0 lead on Mishawaka, headed to the second on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by IU South Bend, fulfilling the promise. We promise you sideline reports. Bo Hunt delivers on that promise. His sideline report sponsored by Bill's Heating. And Bo, your thoughts on quarter number 1?
Really fast quarter, as you said, Chuck, went by pretty fast. I think the biggest thing is just with Dwenger's size. You see a lot of size out there on the offense and defense, and Joe Tipman, one of their big guys, playing left tackle and nose tackle. I think one of the things that Mishawaka is trying to do is really wear him down. You saw Chris Harness, them really going at him early, which opened up the Sam Shively, the follow on the off tackle there. So a good job with Mishawaka making that adjustment here early in the first quarter, guys.
Caveman only attempted 1 pass in that first quarter. 2nd and 8.
Well, they threw another one.
And it's Harness up the middle, and Harness hanging on to the football, gets inside the 5 to about the 4. And Chris Harness running strong. Devin Tipman in at linebacker on that play, was able to make the stop.
Chuck, I got to believe that if you talk to Keith Kinder during the week and said, hey, at the end of the first quarter against Dwenger semi-state, you'd be down 3-0. Would you be okay with that? Absolutely.
Absolutely, especially since they have the football to start the second quarter. 3rd and goal from the 4. It's Shively pitching. Snyder trying to get around the corner. Touchdown, Mishawaka. Donovan Snyder takes it in for his first rushing touchdown of the season, and the Cavemen grab the lead.
Is that the hero we were looking for? Is that the guy we were talking about?
A nice pitch from Shively, and Snyder, who did some damage on that drive. Remember, he was part of that big 22-yard run. takes it on in from 4 yards out, and now Patton Snyder on to try a very important extra point. Snyder, 46 out of 49 on extra points this season. Actually, let me add to that, 50 out of 53 since he went 4 for 4 last week. And movement along the line of scrimmage. Who was it? Offside on Dwenger.
Wow.
So now a question for Keith Kinder. Would he stick with 1 or go for 2?
Well, I don't know. I think maybe you tell your team that we came out here to get a touchdown and a conversion. Let's get it.
And I think Keith might actually decline the extra point to keep the kicker right where he is. Carl Fisher won't have to move the tee. So Snyder, the 5'9" senior.
Another flag just thrown.
And again, it looks like.
Now, if you'd taken the first one, you'd be about a yard out.
And Keith Kinder says, all right, we're going to take it, and we're going to try to get 2.
Wow.
So an interesting decision here by the first-year Mishawaka coach. And they'll talk it over on the sideline with Sam Shively about what the 2-point play will be.
I'll mention how close in the Mishawaka offensive line was. And then when you run that pitch sweep, all of a sudden there's all kinds of room out there.
Everybody looking back at Shively, who makes the play call as he runs onto the field. The play clock is already down to 10. But Shively looks cool as a cucumber as he gets under center. And Shively's going to roll out and throw, and it's batted in the air and incomplete. So Dwenger is able to hold Mishawaka to just 6. The Cavemen decided not to kick the extra point, and Dwenger shuts down the 2-point conversion. But that was a drive that belonged to Donovan Snyder, number 9 for Mishawaka. And you'll see his 2 big plays here on the Bethel College admission replay. First, the ball that should have been an illegal forward pass, and then the backwards pass to Snyder. He got a great block from Bradley Taylor out front.
10-play drive, 65 yards for Mishawaka. And, you know, check that kickoff that went out of bounds turned out to be a big play in that drive as well for Mishawaka.
Absolutely. It gave the Cavemen terrific field position to start the drive as they were able to start from the 35. And don't forget about the key penalty on 4th down for Dwenger that allowed a Mishawaka conversion.
3 first downs on the drive, too, for Mishawaka. So a real solid package. They opened things up a little bit on the running game. And
so 6'3" Cavemen. Patton Snyder will do the kicking. Patrick Finley is back deep. Snyder not taking a very long approach, which makes you think this might be a bit of a pooch kick. And Snyder indeed knocks it down the field to about the 20-yard line to one of the up men. That's Tipman. And Tipman is knocked out of bounds at the 33. For the Dwenger Saints this year, similar to Mishawaka, they had some close games. They beat Lures, their city rival, by just a pair on September 28th. Then they suffered their only loss of the season to 6A Power Snyder, 21-13. That's when they made the move at quarterback to go with Brandon Lytle, and it paid dividends. They beat Wayne in the sectional final, 14-13 on a touchdown pass late, and then last week they rolled past Matt Thibodeau. No, they rolled past Angola by the count of 40-7. Here's the handoff in the backfield, and Mishawaka swarming under the ball carrier. That's Devin Tipman on the carry that time, and he was only able to pick up about 2 or 3 on the play.
Chuck, by the way, that scoring drive for Mishawaka, they got the ball with 4:43 to go in the first quarter. Ended up using over 5 minutes on that drive, so ate up a lot of clock.
2nd and 8. As you take a look at Keith Kinder, the first-year Mishawaka head coach, the 38-year-old 1999 Jimtown grad. A lot of the Jimtown staff here watching tonight as Lytle throws too high, and Patrick Finley has the pins taken out from under him by Grant Jablonski in front of the Dwenger bench.
First incompletion of the night for Lytle. He's 2 out of 3 for 32 yards. But boy, I tell you what, his receiver, who tonight has been his favorite receiver, took a pretty good jolt right there.
Finley's going to have to come out for this key third down play, and I'm sure they'd love to have him in there. 3rd and 8. Lytle, the sophomore, gets under center. And drops to pass with time, lots of time. Now he's flushed out of the pocket, throws, and it's dropped by Lucas Crone, the fullback. In fairness to Crone, the ball was thrown a little bit behind him and a little bit low. Would have been a tough catch.
Maybe a play that a veteran quarterback makes in that situation. It was a good read, just the execution wasn't quite what it needed to be.
You see Lytle just deliver that ball. Well, he did hit Crone in the hands.
Yeah, it should have been caught.
So,
even at that point, Chuck, if he catches the ball and goes down, just make sure he gets the first down.
So John Paul Filler, the punter, who averages about 35 yards a boot, sends it down the field and it rolls out of bounds at the Mishawaka 35-yard line. So for the second straight possession, the Cavemen will take over at their own 35, but this time with a 6-3 lead.
Net of, what, about 28 yards on that punt?
Sounds about right.
So Mishawaka's in good field position. They've got 10:22 to go. They used up 5:24 their last drive. They could do that again. Well, I tell you what, the time when you're running the football really goes away in a hurry. TLCU Financial is a credit union serving our community since 1953 with locations in Mishawaka and Bremen. Open your checking account today and mention that you heard this ad. You'll receive $25 when you open that account. Qualified applicants, some restrictions apply. That's TLCU Financial, a credit union serving our community.
Sam Shively rolled over on a beautiful tackle that time by Dwenger. As Jared Lee, the middle linebacker, comes in to make his 60th stop of the season. The senior had 10 tackles in their win over Northrop, and he stopped Shively right at the line of scrimmage that time. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for Mishawaka. Shively will pitch to Bradley Taylor, and Taylor tried to get around the outside, but again, good pursuit as Lee was there, and he had help that time from Gage Rembarger, the cornerback who came up on the play. Taylor able to pick up about 4 on the play, and Mishawaka looking at a 3rd and 6.
Just like, in fact, they added another name to the diversity of who they're using in the backfield tonight.
Taylor ran for 225 yards this season on just 35 carries. And as we mentioned earlier, had the go-ahead touchdown in the win over Lowell last week. 3rd and 6 for the Cavemen. Shively hands it off to Harness, and there's just nothing there. It closes down in a hurry. Dwenger shuts down the Mishawaka offense and forces a Caveman punt here on 4th and 5. Vinny Fiacable, wearing 97 tonight instead of 62, makes the stop.
Well, Mishawaka got the ball at the 35. They're kicking from the 40. Dwenger gave it up at the 36. We'll see what if they gain anything here on the exchange.
Patton Snyder, the punter. Dawson with a high snap, but Snyder hauls it in and sends that ball down the field. It'll go out of bounds. And let's see where they spot it. It hit out of bounds at about the 31, and that's where it'll be spotted with 9:36 to go in the first half. Mishawaka leads Bishop Dwenger 6-3. You're watching high school football on TV 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by Bethel College Admissions, equipping for lifelong service. Alongside Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, check freebie from Steel Stadium in Mishawaka. 6-3, the Cavemen lead Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger in this Class 4A semi-state. And running up the field for about 3 yards on first down are the Dwenger Saints, but a nice tackle made that time on Devin Tipman by Nicholas Davis, the middle linebacker.
Got tripped up a little bit in the backfield before you actually get a chance to get out and stretch it out. So he was off balance and was taken down by the Cavemen for a short gain.
Our second quarter tonight brought to us by our friends at Bub Funeral Chapel. Dwenger moved the ball down the field for its first possession, then stymied on possession 2. Now here's Tippmann cutting inside, a block from Crone, and Tippmann's got a first down as he takes it on up to the 45-yard line of Bishop Dwenger. Nice carry that time by Devin Tippmann as he gets 11 on the carry. He'll get another look from Bethel College Admissions. And keep an eye on 38, Lucas Crone is the fullback. Sprung him right there.
Yeah, Mishawaka got good depth, good penetration to try to get a stop, but the fullback just blew up the penetrator and wound up getting a 10-yard plus carry on first down for Dwenger.
Patrick Finley back in the game for Dwenger, split wide, but they go to Devin Tippmann here. Tippmann tried to fight off a tackler but could not get away as Thomas Frayling brings him down for a pickup of 1. And look at Tippmann coming up with half of Steel Stadium sod in his helmet.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a good tackle. It was like wearing a top coat that's a little too small for you. You just couldn't get it off. Frayling did a good job.
With 50 tackles now on the year, 2-year starter here and part of this senior class that has such a special bond. Lytle wants to throw all the time in the world, and it's broken up on a beautiful play by Devin Jimenez. Jimenez comes over the middle and breaks up the pass attempt. It'll be third down.
After going 2 for 2 now, Lytle is over his last 3, and boy, this ball is just hung up just long enough for the defensive back to come up and bang.
Yeah, he may want to throw that one with a little more zip next time because he had Patrick O'Keefe open, but O'Keefe couldn't make the grab when Jimenez came over.
Mishawaka has been very correct defensively what they're doing against Lytle and this team from Dwenger.
Mishawaka with a lot of underclassmen on its defense this year, and they've gotten better as the season has gone along. Now from a shotgun, Lytle with time throws and completes it to O'Keefe, and O'Keefe is loose in the middle of the field and finally brought down as Jimenez gets him at the 44-yard line, 43-yard line, but not until Dwenger moves the chains with a first down. Patrick O'Keefe with his 8th catch of the year. His best friend is Lytle, and you get another look from down on field level as O'Keefe popped open on that one and was able to pick up 11 on the play.
Good job by Mishawaka to get back in position to make the stop. 43 yards passing for Lytle in the first half.
Now an I formation again, and Lytle will pitch it to Tippmann, who barely held on to it, but then burst through the hole, and T.J. Tippmann with an 11-yard carry for a first down to the Mishawaka 32. I asked Jason Garrett this week what determines which of the Tippmanns you use at a given time, and he says a lot of it's by feel, but when it comes down to it, we try to say that this is the seniors team, and so if it's a clutch moment, you're likely going to see T.J. Tippmann in there, and with his team down 6-3, this would qualify as a clutch moment. They hand it off to the fullback, Ellinger, and Ellinger is able to pick up maybe a yard on the play. Hayden Ellinger, a 5'10", 210-pound junior, raced for 279 yards this year and 3 touchdowns. Give him credit for 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 8. O'Keefe goes wide to the top of your screen. Finley, the receiver, at the bottom of your screen. They'll pitch to Devin Tippmann, trying to get around the outside. Got a block from Ellinger, but again, Mishawaka coming in from behind the play to make the stop, and it was Blake Brown that time who made it, the 5'8" senior defensive lineman.
Good depth again by Mishawaka on that pitch.
So Lytle looking at a 3rd and 7. Lytle, a terrific 3-sport athlete at Bishop Dwenger. Started at point guard last year for the basketball team as a freshman. He'll line up in the shotgun here, and Mishawaka wants a timeout to talk about it with 5:52 to go in the first half.
8 plays so far in this drive, and I think Keith Kidder wanted to do a couple things here. Get his guys a breath. I mean, you're down to 5:52 to go in the first half, and his team has been out on the field for quite a bit. But the other thing is, Chuck, they may have a read here. You know, they lined up in a shotgun there with no backs around them. Do we have somebody want to cut loose, maybe put some pressure on that sophomore quarterback, see if they maybe force him into a mistake?
Reminder, next weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, we have all 6 state finals for
All
you here
6?
live on TV 46.
All day?
All day Friday, all day Saturday. Now, the even-numbered state finals, 2A, 4A, 6A, those are on Friday. So the winner of this game plays Friday afternoon at 3:30. Saturday, the odd-numbered ones, the 1A, the 3A, the 5A, at noon, 3:30, and 7. So just lock it down, take the batteries out of the remote. 46 the place to be next weekend.
I get a chance to see Pioneer, you think, on Saturday?
I think that's a pretty good chance. Adams Central has some chance to say something about it tonight. But 3rd and 7 from the 28. Lytle throws in the flat, has his man, and knocked out of bounds by Donovan Snyder, but that is a first down to Griffin Eifert, his 18th catch of the season, and he had 4 of those catches in their loss to Snyder, but he makes a key grab here to move the chains and set up 1st and 10 inside the 20.
4 out of 7 now, 51 yards passing in the first half for Lytle.
High formation again here for the Saints, and they'll hand it off to the big back in the backfield, and Tippmann has the legs taken out from under him by C.J. Fisher, the senior defensive captain, who had 17 tackles in that win over Penn, makes his 3rd tackle for loss this season. You get another look from Bethel College admissions.
Good penetration again, going low. The big guys from Dwenger, they are big, they are strong, but Mishawaka is getting underneath the blocks and getting in the backfield, getting penetration.
2nd and 11. Lytle to throw. Again, time going for the end zone. He's got a man, and it's incomplete. Jimenez was with Eifert step for step, and Eifert couldn't hang on to the football. It might have been out of bounds anyway.
I think it probably was. That was play number 11 of this drive.
Watch Eifert when he gets his hands on the ball. It looked like he would have still been in bounds, but Jimenez was right there to break it up with great timing on the play. He had 1 foot down. He just couldn't hang on to the football.
Good work on our truck. Nice job, fellas.
So 3rd and 11 from the 21. They're already in field goal range. Lytle to throw, blitz coming, and he gets around the blitzer. And now Lytle throws, and it's complete. Down to the 3-yard line. What a grab by Griffin Eifert. Eifert had Donovan Snyder draped all over him and still managed to come up with a ball as you get another look from Bethel College admissions. The blitzing linebacker was evaded nicely by Lytle, and then he threw it in the only place where Eifert could grab it. And he did. What a grab.
About 18 yards on the play, down to 3-yard line.
So 1st and goal from the 2-yard line for Dwenger with under 5 minutes to go, first half. You look at T.J. Tippmann lining up as the tail of the trio. And it's Tippmann on the sweep. Tippmann tripped up and didn't get there. Defensive play of the game so far for Mishawaka by Micah Washington as the senior defensive tackle came up and made the stop, and you get another look from Bethel College admissions. Washington coming over, and even though he was being tangled up on the play by the blocker, was able to make the tackle. So on 2nd and goal, they get it to Tippmann again, tries to go up the middle to the end zone, touchdown, T.J. Tippmann. The 12th straight game that T.J. Tippmann has scored a touchdown, his 14th TD of the year, and the Saints fans across the way celebrate. They've got the lead back at 9-6.
14-play drive, that's impressive.
Started back at their own 31, so a 69-yard march. Took over 5 minutes of game time off the clock. Now Michael Garrett on to try a very important extra point. The snap is good, the kick is up, and it is good. 4:13 to go in the first half. And Bishop Dwenger buoyed by a terrific catch by Griffin Eifert, who set him up with a 1st and goal. And then after Eifert made this incredible grab, It set the table for T.J. Tippmann, and he went to eat into the end zone for 6, and the Saints are marching in on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by Crown Trophy. They're nationally known and locally owned.
Scoring drive for Dwenger, 69 yards, 14 plays, 5 first downs. Check, they took 5:23 to get in the end zone. The scoring drive for Mishawaka on their 10-play drive, well, that took 5:24. So both teams doing what they do, and we've got ourselves a good one. Boy, I tell you what, 2 really good football teams.
Filler on a high spinning kick that'll be taken by Fisher at the 16. C.J. Fisher up the middle, and he gets to the 35-yard line. So once again, for the 3rd time tonight, Mishawaka will start a drive at its own 35, and let's see what Keith Kinder can do with the final 4:06.
Bub Funeral Chapel is here for your family and a proud supporter of high school athletics. Congratulations, Mishawaka, on a great season. Bub Funeral Chapel offers the full range of services. Give them a call at 255-3126 or visit bubfuneralchapel.com.
Sam Shively under center has directed 1 touchdown drive tonight, but inconsistency has plagued the Cavemen on offense this evening. Snyder in motion, it's Shively on the carry, and Sam only picks up about 2 on that play because the Dwenger defense was able to shut it down quickly with Jared Monnier, the senior defensive tackle, a 3-sport athlete, making the stop. Monnier, also a rugby player and a wrestler. We'll feature another rugby player at halftime, one of our TCU student athletes of the week.
24 yards for Shively in the first half, 14 for Harness, 32. Pretty nice effort here tonight for Mishawaka.
Shively on 2nd and 8, pitches out, but there's no room for Bradley Taylor to go anywhere, as Dwenger forces a loss on the play back to the 35-yard line. Mishawaka looking at 3rd and 10. Shively got in the backfield, and I don't know if he turned the wrong way or they were just trying to misdirect, but when he pitched back to Taylor, it didn't fool anybody, as Gage Rembarger was there to make the stop.
They kind of ran that to the short side of the field. I don't know if they thought they'd catch him. Donovan Snyder is the player I was talking about from Mishawaka, is leading them in rushing here in the first half. Snyder has 32 yards on 2 carries.
Which, what a job that the Saints have done on Chris Harness so far tonight. 3rd and 10, Shively wants to throw, gets rid of it quickly, and it's incomplete. Broken up well by the secondary. Rembarger was able to come up and make the hit just as the ball was arriving at the hands of Caleb Brothers.
0 for 3 for Shively in the first half, throwing the football. For Fort Wayne Dwenger, 5 out of 9, 64 yards. They actually have more yardage passing than they have rushing.
The good news there for Dwenger is they were able to stop the clock with the incomplete pass, not have to use a timeout, so they have 3 timeouts left. 2:31 on the clock, and they'll get the ball back here in fairly good field position as Snyder's kick goes down the middle of the field. Finley takes it at his 35, and Finley has some wheels, folks, trying to get to the outside, cuts it up the field, and Mishawaka special teams did a good job there to corral him out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. Excellent pursuit by the Cavemen. Tyler Pearson made the tackle.
Well, with 2:17 to go, you figure that Dwenger's probably going to try to air it out. Mishawaka's got to come up big here.
So they'll spot it at the 40-yard line. And Dwenger with 2:17 left before halftime. Let's see if Mark Watt's offense can put together a drive here. Lytle wants to throw right away. Has time, going deep down the field, but he threw it too far for Patrick Finley. Well, Brendan Lytle this year has not thrown too many interceptions. In fact, as a defensive back, he's intercepted more passes than he's thrown interceptions. You want that out of a sophomore.
One of the things about the deep pass there for Dwenger is it stopped the clock. So Mishawaka was hoping maybe to get the hands on the ball again. They need a couple of stops, and they've got some timeouts. So we'll see what happens here on 2nd down and 10.
And a timeout called on the far side by Bishop Dwenger as the Saints want to figure out what they're doing here on offense.
Well, folks, while you're cheering on your favorite team from the stands, know that Thor Industries is your biggest fan. As the largest RV manufacturer in the world and with 16 Thor companies in northern Indiana, we have a spot for you in their starting lineup. Visit us at thorindustries.com to get yourself started.
My partner Bob Nagel has a busy weekend, calls this game tonight and then hops on the train tomorrow and heads for the Windy City, where the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, ranked #1 in the country in women's basketball, tangle with Doug Bruno's DePaul Blue Demons downtown by that new arena down by McCormick Place. It's a 2 o'clock Eastern time tip-off, and you can hear all the action on all 3 frequencies, 92.1, 96.9, and 103.1 FM.
Doug Bruno and the DePaul Blue Demons, always a tough test for Muffet and the Irish.
2nd and 10 for Dwenger. The snap to Lytle in the shotgun. He airs it out. He's got a man open, but he overthrew Finley. Oh my, was Patrick Finley wide open. But Lytle could have taken his time a little bit there, Bob, and I think that's one of the cases where being a sophomore maybe showed itself.
5 out of 11 now in the first half. Boy, they had the short receiver covered pretty well, so he tried to go deep.
And Finley, the only guy near him was Donovan Snyder, and he was 10 yards downfield. So fairly open target, but Lytle couldn't hit it that time. It's 3rd and 10.
And he's been successful on 3rd down. I don't know, Mishawaka, I keep thinking maybe if they cut somebody loose and go after this guy. They did it once, but the rusher slipped and fell.
Grayling tried to go inside this time, but O'Keefe makes the catch. O'Keefe working on Jimenez and gets knocked out of bounds. The clock will stop. They didn't get the first down, and it'll be 4th down and about 3.5 to go for the Dwenger Saints from their own 47-yard line, and Jason Garrett's going to kick it away here. Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor.
I read that somewhere.
Now, it's not to say that they couldn't try to run a fake here with John Paul Filler at their own 46.
One thing that Mishawaka was concerned about. They've seen them do a lot of that during the course of the season.
And Mishawaka doesn't have anybody deep to take the punt. So Filler hits this one, and it'll just take a little Dwenger roll and go inside the 20 all the way down to the 15-yard line. And Mishawaka will take over from there with 1:45 to go in the first half.
Tell you what, Mishawaka's got to be pretty happy, though. A 3 and out after giving up the ball on a 3 and out. So Mishawaka, worst they are probably going to do, partner, is go in the locker room down by a score of 10-6. I really think that's a great first half for both these teams.
Well, the question would be here, how aggressive will Keith Kinder be? He does have 2 timeouts and 1:45 on the clock, but Shively has not completed a pass yet here in the first half.
Falls at the 15.
Dwenger not putting as many men in the box this time, trying to play a little bit of prevent on defense. Harness, no, he didn't get the football. They throw it outside to Donovan Snyder, and Snyder is able to go forward for about 4 yards on the play. Snyder, very bright young man with a 4.2 GPA, and more than likely one of the bell cow backs of this team next season. And you see what Chris Harness has been averaging this year versus what he has done tonight. Dwenger has done a terrific job against the Mishawaka Star. Shively hands it off to Harness this time, and Harness able to get about 2 or 3 yards that time. It'll set up a 3rd and 3. Mishawaka letting the clock run. It goes under a minute to go, as you see on the Thor Industries scoreboard.
Sure would like to get a first down here.
Well, if they don't convert it here, I'll bet you Dwenger uses a timeout. Shively with a long count. He'll try to milk this play clock as long as he can. And I think Keith Kinder then may take the timeout when the clock gets down to about 1. He's standing right next to the side judge. And indeed, Kinder uses his second timeout with 25 seconds to go in the half.
Well, you talk about fun watching two well-coached teams. Want to tell you, folks, that Bill's Heating has been keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. You can relax knowing your family's comfort is their top priority. And Bill's Heating was voted best of the best by readers of the Goshen News 3 years in a row. Is it getting cold? Yeah, I don't know what happened to fall. It went right into winter, but call Bill's Heating if they can help you. And don't forget, coming up here at halftime, Bo Hunt will have a Bill's Heating sideline report for you as the teams leave the field.
Well, these two first-year coaches have both put up 12-1 records this year. And Jason Garrett and Keith Kinder, as Bob mentioned, doing a terrific job with their teams. Kinder's Cavemen with the football, looking at 3rd and 3 from their own 22. Shively hands it off. Chris Harness with a burst, and he's taken down at the 31 after picking up the first down. Harness with his longest run of the night, and that gets a first down, sponsored by R&B Car Company.
Big carry for Chris Harness.
Watch here, the 9-yard burst. TJ Tipman made what might have been a touchdown-saving tackle.
That's one of those plays, Chuck, that won't have a big mark on it other than my score sheet, but that was a big carry for Mishawaka late in the first half.
Keith Kinder clapping his hands as he sends his team off to the locker room, trailing 10-6 after the first half of play here at Steele Stadium. Let's go downstairs for a Bills Heating sideline report. Bo Hunt has the Mishawaka head coach.
Coach, you knew this was going to be a dogfight going in. Just thoughts on that first half?
Well, they're really good. They've done what no one has done this year, which is take number 2 away. We got to figure out a way at halftime to just get creative and get him the football, because we're not going to win if he doesn't get the ball more.
Their passing attack having a little bit of effect on your defense, but your defense really stepping up. Just thoughts on their passing attack?
Yeah, well, that was a great catch down here on that 3rd and long. A heck of a play by him. We had to make an adjustment. We didn't think, they haven't run a lot of slants up to this point, but they were connecting on those. So we made an adjustment. Our defense is playing great, keeping us in the game.
Thanks, Keith.
All right, thanks.
Back to you guys.
You won't find a straighter shooter than Keith Kinder. He calls it as he sees it, and he says unless they get Chris Harness going, they're not going to win. Right now, they trail the Dwenger Saints 10-6. Stick around. We've got our TCU student athletes coming up, and the Mary's Match Be the Match halftime report. 10-6 Bishop Dwenger in the 4A semi-state on 46.
Steele Stadium, semi-state halftime with a good chance to honor our Student Athletes of the Week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. With us from Mishawaka High School is Sam Shively. And Sam, obviously we're at halftime and we pre-taped this because you're a busy guy tonight. Congratulations on all your success, not only in football, but you're involved also in basketball and baseball. You've had a great run here at Mishawaka.
Yes, sir, I have, and I couldn't do it without my parents, my friends, my coaches, especially my girlfriend.
Oh, no, you can't mention. No, you can. Actually, you can. It'll save you some money for the prom. You don't have to get her a flower. Anyway, I want to talk to you about your academics and how you've been able to handle all those responsibilities. You're busy all year long, and yet you're getting it done in the classroom.
Yeah, study hall is a huge thing for me. I also get a lot of help with my friends, especially my mom. She helps me out a lot. My coaches just give me the time to get it done.
You got to be real disciplined about your time management, and there's times when guys want to go out for pizza and you got to maybe work on a project.
Absolutely, especially papers in English.
I know what that's like too. I got a couple dues still to get my high school diploma. I want to ask you about your future. You're going to go to Taylor University and play baseball.
Yes, sir. I'm very excited for that, and I can't wait.
Well, you talk about the success and the camaraderie. This is a very close-knit team. I've never been to a banquet where people talk about winning a championship without somebody saying, I love you guys, and you guys are really a tight unit.
Oh, absolutely. We've been together since 7th, 8th grade. Our coaches love us to death, and they'll do anything for us.
Well, Sam, congratulations on your success, and obviously good luck tonight, and thanks for being our Student Athlete of the Week.
Thank you, sir.
And our Student Athlete of the Week from Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger High School is Ann Steinberg. And Ann's going to receive this wonderful plaque. Ann is an outstanding student. Matter of fact, she's #1 in her class, just a junior. She's involved in a lot of things at Dwenger High School, including cheerleading, and she also plays rugby. So she's quite an athlete, and she wants to study maybe at Vanderbilt, maybe at Notre Dame, but she's looking forward to a career probably in computer science, and she's got certainly the ability to do that. And we're very proud of Ann Steinberg from Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger High School, our Student Athlete of the Week. And our Student Athletes of the Week this week brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. We're back with some halftime stats and highlights in just a moment. You're watching TV 46 coverage of the Class 4A Semi-State from Mishawaka High School.
And this edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by the electrical workers of Local 153. They're making our community brighter. The lights are on here at Steele Stadium tonight. A 10-6 Bishop Dwenger lead over Mishawaka here at the intermission of the Class 4A's Northern Semi-State. Chuck Freeby and Bob Nagel high atop the fray. We expected both defenses to be good. They have been. I think the one thing you might not have expected is Chris Harness to be shut down as much as he's been by the Dwenger defense.
Yeah, he's got 24 yards, I think, at halftime, and had a couple of carries that were kind of what we expect out of Chris Harness, but they really have been focusing on him. The thing is, Mishawaka actually leads the game in rushing, 88 and just 51 yards rushing for Dwenger, which has to be kind of shocking to them. They usually run the ball pretty effectively, but they have thrown it well, and Mishawaka has not. So, you know, we got a 4-point ball game, and the numbers really reflect why. But, again, there's some really big defensive stops and good offensive plays in that first half.
Well, let's show you how it got to be this way here at Steele Stadium, because Dwenger came out on his first possession firing. Brendan Lytle to Patrick Finley, but Derek Dawson with a big hit for a loss on third down. Forced a field goal. Michael Garrett was able to punch it in from there, and the Saints took a 3-0 lead. That lasted until the second quarter. Sam Shively moving the ball down the field, maybe an illegal forward pass there to Donovan Snyder, but Snyder was able to get the gain. And then here in the second quarter, it's Snyder taking it in for his first rushing touchdown of the year, and the Cavemen had the lead. The extra point attempt on the 2-point conversion failed. 6-3 Mishawaka. Back comes Dwenger. TJ Tippmann nearly fumbled the ball there. Instead, he ran for 11. And then the offensive play of the first half, this catch by Griffin Eifert that gave Dwenger first and goal at the 3. From there, TJ Tippmann pounds it in for his 16th touchdown of the year. And the Saints have a 10-6 lead at the intermission. But as you mentioned, Bob, the numbers in the stat column almost as close as they are on the scoreboard.
They really are, and the things that stick out to me, no turnovers by either team, and very limited penalties. 1 for Mishawaka for 10 yards, 3 for 13 for Dwenger. Total yards, 126 for the Saints, and for Mishawaka, 88 total yards. So, again, you're down by 4. Chuck, one of the things that, you mentioned that Mishawaka went for the 2, didn't get it. They were going to go for 1. There was a penalty. They declined the penalty. They're going to kick the extra point. Then they got another penalty. So, well, let's go for it. And the pass was knocked down. You hope that doesn't come back to be a big play or deciding play in this game, because now Mishawaka needs a touchdown to tie or take the lead. And Dwenger, they are going to have to deal with Mishawaka. They will get the football to start the second half.
Our halftime report tonight brought to you by Mary's Match and Be the Match. And a quick update on Mary Freeby. Had her 1-year checkup today. The doctors say she's perfectly normal. We look forward to inviting her back to the Freeby family at some point. 10-6, Dwenger on top of Mishawaka on TV 46. And this edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by J.B. Macri Orthodontics. Trust your smile to the experts. Plenty to smile about in the Dwenger locker room at halftime. They're up 10-6 coming out for the second half. Bo Hunt, what kind of things did Jason Garrett talk about at halftime?
Well, I got a chance to talk to Jason, and he talked about, man, what a battle, Bo, this is out here. We knew this was going to be just one of those wars where you go out and it's a physical battle, and we talked about that at halftime, how we prepared you guys, and we talked about how this is going to be a battle. This is how it's going to be. You're at this point because both these teams are good. We got to go out here. We got to want the game more. He talked about making a little bit of adjustments on offense and making their offense run smooth. So that run pretty good there as the half ended, but we got to really continue that in the second half and get our offense going and running a lot smoother. guys.
All right, Bo's Sideline Report brought to us by our friends at Bill's Heating. Third quarter will be brought to us by Bub Funeral Chapel. And no matter which one of these first-year coaches is the winner here tonight, the winning coach is going to become just the 7th first-year coach to reach the IHSA Football State Finals. Great job done this year by both Jason Garrett and Keith Kinder.
Looked like Keith Kinder just noticed something that Dwenger maybe set up going to try to do, so yelling instructions to his team.
Patton Snyder ready to kick it off. And this time he comes to the near side, and Mishawaka has the football at the 39. An onside kick by the Cavemen works, and it caught Dwenger napping. Looks like C.J. Fisher came up with the football. And a beautifully executed play by Snyder. He lined up as he did when he kicked it to the right side, but this time he kicked it left, and there was nobody home for Dwenger.
I think they were thinking the next row would come up and make the play, and they didn't. Mishawaka covered it. C.J. Fisher, wow.
They'll spot it at the 41-yard line of Dwenger. Harness in the backfield behind Shively. Takes the handoff, and Chris Harness battles for about 3 yards on the play before he's brought down by Big Joe Tipman, the 6'6", 310-pound tackle who's committed to Wisconsin. Keith Kinder, when I asked him what he learned about himself this year in his first year of coaching, he said, I have to be myself. And being myself means being aggressive. And that's what he was on that first call of the second half. It's Harness up the middle again, and again snowed under by the middle of the defensive line. Dwenger came out of the pile with the ball, but they're saying Harness was down before Jordan Watercutter picked it away. It'll be 3rd and 4 from the 35-yard line. Shively and all the Cavemen checking their wristbands as Mishawaka trying to strike quickly here in the 3rd.
I think Shively's going to carry here.
Nope, it's Harness off the left side. Jared Lee made the hit. And it looks like Harness is about a half a yard short of the first down, up at around the 33-yard line.
You know, when your coach does some things, like going the onside kick, it's on the team now to hold him up and get the first down here, just as it was after he went for 2 and didn't get it. You gotta hold him up.
Shively was able to draw Dwenger offside once tonight. 4th and 1 at the 32. Shively to Harness, first down and more, up to the 26. First down sponsored by R&B Car Company. Chris Harness, the school's all-time leading career rusher, adds to that total with a key 4th down conversion.
Not sure if the Cavemen have changed the blocking scheme much, but I think they're pretty well convinced that they can battle with Dwenger. Outgained him on the ground in their first half.
Mishawaka now 25 of 32 on 4th down this year. It's Shively keeping it off the left side. Sam Shively spun down at the 21-yard line. Again, it was Joe Tipman on the tackle, but a pickup of 5 or 6 on the play.
30 yards now for Shively on the ground, 41 for Harness.
They'll spot it at the 21 and call it 2nd and 4.
Snyder's got 36, so Cavemen over 100 yards rushing.
Handoff, Harness, he picks up about 3 on the play before he's thrown down. It was Charlie Howe, the linebacker, a left-handed pitcher on the baseball team, who comes over and makes the stop.
3 or 4 is enough for Mishawaka to move the chains and for Harness to do what he does. The thing is now, once you get it open where you're getting 3 or 4 yards, Chuck, this is where you can come with a little counter play or get somebody else in the mix, because Dwenger is focusing on Harness.
On 3rd and 2, Shively trying to bounce it to the outside, and Dwenger will have none of it. They push him backwards, stopping him at the 20-yard line, and another 4th down conversion time for Mishawaka. They're looking at 4th and 3 right here.
Interested in improving all areas of your fitness program or sport? Join the Strength and Conditioning Center in Mishawaka. That's Beacon Sports Performance. They offer youth, high school, and adult performance training. Visit the website at beaconhealthandfitness.org today.
So they're looking at 4th and 4 from the 20. Shively under center. Puts Taylor in motion. Shively throwing towards the end zone. It's incomplete, broken up by a pair of Dwenger Saints. T.J. Tippmann there to break it up along with Gage Rembarger. And Shively's pass had no chance of getting through to his intended receiver. Dwenger will take over on downs at its own 20.
I guess you might as well throw it, because if they catch it, if they intercept it down to 2, maybe it's good as a punt in that situation. But as it turns out, Dwenger answered big after the onside kick recovered by Mishawaka. Not sure the momentum has worn one jersey or another, but certainly he's got to pump up Dwenger knowing that they got the stop there.
Now Dwenger will go with a no-back shotgun here for Brendan Lytle. But they move it back into motion, and Tippmann has room to run. Devin Tippmann with 14 on his first carry of the second half, moving the chains for Fort Wayne Dwenger. You'll get another look here. They just brought Tippmann in motion in kind of a variation of a jet sweep. Nicholas Davis was able to make the tackle.
Gain of 14 yards and a first down.
So it's 1st and 10 from the 34. You see the clock in the bottom right-hand corner of the Thor scoreboard. It's Devin Tippmann taking the carry again and pushing forward for about a yard on the play. Tyler Rux, the defensive tackle, comes up and makes the stop. Rux, an honor roll student who enjoys traveling in the offseason.
Chuck, we still haven't seen a turnover in this ball game, although I would have to say that Dwenger has been in danger of dropping the ball a couple times tonight. We'll see if that comes up. Boy, any kind of a turnover in the second half of a ball game like this would be huge.
Of course, Shively nearly threw an interception on the 4th down pass, but actually Dwenger was better served by knocking the ball down. So 2nd and 9. And they'll pitch it to Devin Tippmann, and he is met by Frayling at the 31, a loss of 4. Thomas Frayling with his 7th tackle for loss this season. Watch Frayling, he read this one like Evelyn Woods.
Man, that he throws himself totally on the ball carrier. It's almost like he's going to make the ball carrier wear him and then see what he can do after that. Not much.
Frayling, a pole vaulter for the Mishawaka track team. You got to be a little bit crazy to do that, and that helps if you're a defensive end. 3rd and 11.
See if the cavemen come.
Lytle with lots of time. Now here comes Frayling, and Lytle's pass is caught by Patrick O'Keefe, and O'Keefe has the first down up to the 45 with a great second effort that time. What a great effort by Patrick O'Keefe. He made this catch about 5 yards short of the marker, but was able to bounce off the tackle there from Davis and surge forward to get the first down.
7 out of 13 now for 87 yards in the ball game for Lytle. Chuck, again, every time he gets enough time, he's been pretty effective. And I know I keep calling for Mishawaka to maybe send a blitz or something, but pressure was pretty good.
Now they'll hand it off. Devin Tippmann working off the left side, and Mishawaka bottles him up quickly. Joseph Willis comes in and makes the hit.
Teachers Credit Union understands the importance of growing your future. Whether you're growing your family, your square footage, or your business, Teachers Credit Union is here for you with financial solutions that will help you succeed. Visit tcunet.com to start growing your future today. Federally insured by the NCUA, they are an equal housing opportunity lender.
5.5 to go, 3rd quarter. Dwenger clinging to a 10-6 lead and marching. Devin Tippmann on the handoff with room to run. Gets to the outside, and Nicholas Davis with a beautiful ankle tackle brings him down after a pickup of 7. Watch Davis again just be able to get Tippmann, who bounces this to the outside, as you see here on the Bethel College admissions replay. And it was the speed of Davis that hauls him down from behind. Davis, only a junior, had 72 tackles coming into the action tonight, including 12 in the win over Elkhart Central. 3rd and 3. Lytle gives it to Tippmann again. Right side, tries to get around Frayling, can't do it. Pushed back. It'll be 4th and 2. In fact, they spotted all the way up at the 46, so it's 4th and 1. And more than likely, Jason Garrett will go for it here. Well, that was a pretty generous spot that time.
I thought it was.
We'll see if that's the case here. He never got to the 46-yard line.
Yeah, boy. Well, it's 4th down.
So 4th and 1, the Saints fans across the way making a lot of noise, and the Caveman fans come to their feet. Handoff TJ Tipman, and he's got the first down across the 45 up to the 44-yard line. So TJ Tipman, anytime they need some clutch yards, he's the guy they go to. And he got 2 there on 4th down to keep this drive alive.
16 yards on the night for TJ Tipman.
Each team with only 1 possession so far here in the 3rd quarter. It has been that kind of game here at Steel Stadium tonight.
Ninth play of the drive here, Chuck, and they're only down to the 43-yard line of Mishawaka.
Lytle gives it to Tipman, a variation of the play they ran on their first play, and Tipman is loose. Tipman twirled down at the 16-yard line. Another Dwenger first down. 28 yards on the pickup, the longest run of the night for the Dwenger sophomore. He got a huge block up front from both Joe Tipman and Lucas Crone.
83 yards rushing now for Tipman. Very nice combination. Both Tipmans can help you running the football.
You get the feeling that that little variation of putting Tipman in motion and then giving him the ball might be something that Mark Watts has not run much this year. Now here's TJ Tipman in motion. They'll give it to him, and Mishawaka had some shots at him, but TJ Tipman dives forward to the 6. Mishawaka looked like they had Tipman dead to rights, but Ryan Watt couldn't finish him off, and TJ takes it up to the 7, and Dwenger looking at a 2nd and 2.
9 yards in the carry there for Tipman. He's at 25. At TJ Tipman, 25 yards. Boy, Mishawaka could get a stop and hold them to a field goal here. They're score away just like they were when the second half started.
Big series here. Inside the 10-yard line at the 7. Lytle talks it over with his backfield. TJ Tipman, the tail of the tandem, and it's TJ Tipman getting the football with blockers in front. Tipman strung to the outside, and finally CJ Fisher brings him down at about the 3. It'll be 1st and goal from there. You would think with this big offensive line, guys like Luke Wigginton and Joe Henry over there on that left side, Dwenger would have the advantage.
But it looked like TJ Tipman, the biggest problem he was having was getting past his lineman who was blocking out in front of him, but he was patient enough to wait, and then he was able to hop forward for a 5-yard gain.
Those are some wide bodies to have to get around. Micah Washington and Ethan Nowacki check into the game. On defense for the Cavemen. The handoff to the fullback, diving forward, Ellinger, touchdown, Bishop Dwenger. Hayden Ellinger's 4th touchdown of the season gives Dwenger its biggest lead of the night at 16-6. And Dwenger getting a couple of big conversions, one on a 3rd and 11 where Patrick O'Keefe was able to fight for some extra effort, and another on 4th and 1 after Mishawaka seized momentum with that onside kick to start the half. Dwenger shut him down and then answered with an impressive 80-yard march. Michael Garrett's extra point is up and good, and with 2:27 to go in the 3rd quarter, the Bishop Dwenger Saints take their largest lead of the ball game. Hayden Ellinger pounds it in from the 3. It's 17-6 Dwenger on 46. And this edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by Imagineering Finishing Technology. The teams in this game working towards a great finish, and so is the team at IFT. Partners with industries including aerospace, automotive, military, and defense, and IFT quality is a way of life. The Dwenger fans who have made the trip from the Summit City enjoying themselves here in Mishawaka tonight. Their team has a 17-6 lead with 2:27 to go. here in the third quarter of the 4A Northern Semi-State. The winner plays at 3:30 next Friday afternoon on TV 46. Filler's high spinning kick taken by Fisher back at the 12. C.J. Fisher up the middle to the 31-yard line.
Good return.
So Mishawaka with good field position. That has not been the problem tonight for the Cavemen. What has been the problem is getting consistency on offense and getting the kind of production that they need to out of their star running back, Chris Harness.
The scoring drive for Dwenger, 80 yards, 12 plays. They picked up 4 first downs, and they took 5:59 off the clock. All of a sudden, your Mishawaka Cavemen, you're looking up and saying, we've got 14 minutes to do something about this, but they really got to put together a drive here and get on the scoreboard.
Sam Shively gives it off to Chris Harness, and Harness bounced it out to the 34-yard line. Pick up 3 on the play as our third quarter tonight being brought to us by our friends above Funeral Chapel.
Harness at 47 yards on the night. Chuck, every time he does that play like that last play, you expect him to pop out of there once in a while because he's done it all season against some of the better teams in the area. Did it against Penn all night long, so maybe he's got one of those in him.
He's had 8 200-yard games, and it's Shively keeping it himself. Shively will pitch out, and this is Bradley Taylor for a first down out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So Taylor, the senior, gets his second carry of the night and moves the chains, sponsored by R&B Car Company. Nicely run option here as you get another look from Bethel College admissions at the sleight of hand of Sam Shively. An 11-yard pickup on the play, and it's 1st and 10. Shively keeps it himself again, and Shively dives out to almost the midfield stripe. Pickup of about 4 on the play. Bob mentioned a little moment ago that Chris Harness with 47 yards tonight. To put that into perspective, Harness is low for the season, 130. Came against Elkhart Central. So that's how good a job this Dwenger defense has done tonight on the Mishawaka Star.
And he looks like he's pretty healthy. So that was good news. We were hoping that he would be good to play tonight, and he certainly looks good.
2nd and 6. It's Shively again on the carry. Bounces it up to about the 48-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup. And Mishawaka looking at a 3rd and 3. But they've got to get a couple of touchdowns here. And time will start to become a factor in this one.
We'd like to thank Culver's of Mishawaka for feeding our production crew tonight. Make sure to stop by Culver's of Mishawaka with their fabulous made-to-order burgers, and for a limited time, they have sweet potato fries.
They'll call it 3rd and 3. Shively keeps it, turns it inside, and only got about 2. And so he'll be looking at a 4th and 2 situation here as Jordan Watercutter made the stop.
Culver's of Mishawaka is proud supporter of high school sports and wishes the Mishawaka team all the best of luck in the game tonight. Culver's, welcome to Delicious.
Mishawaka will wait out the clock and decide what to do on this 4th down play as they go to the 4th quarter. The Bishop Dwenger Saints may be just 12 minutes away from a trip to the oil can and Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis unless Mishawaka can mount a comeback. Dwenger marched down the field 80 yards after knocking down a pass in the end zone. Devin Tipman did most of the damage, and then Hayden Ellinger pushed it in. It's 17-6 Dwenger on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week brought to you by Bill's Heating, keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. Relax knowing your family's comfort is their top priority. Bill's Heating voted best of the best by readers of the Goshen News 3 years in a row. And with the Bills Heating sideline report, Bo Hunt.
Guys, that third quarter, I think, was dominated by Joe Tipman in the middle of the defensive line. I think that was one of the biggest things of what he did in the middle was really stopping Harness.
And he tried to do it again there, but they pitch out to the outside, and Bradley Taylor, Donovan Snyder gets the first down. Snyder up to the 33-yard line, and that's a first down sponsored by R&B Car Company. So Tippmann had the inside control, and Mishawaka decided to go to the outside that time. And Snyder, who's had one of his better games of the season tonight, took it on up to the 33.
Snyder now with 51 yards rushing in the ball game for Mishawaka.
1st and 10 from there. Shively gives it to Harness. Harness up to the 24, a pickup of 9 on the play. A couple of times tonight, he's looked to be just a step away from bursting one of those big runs. That was one of them.
Well, we've been treated to some really good football tonight. Mishawaka, their scoring drive went 65 yards in 10 plays. Dwenger went 46 in 10 plays. They went 69 in 14 plays.
On 2nd and 2, it's Harness carrying, and it looks like he has the first down up to the 22-yard line. So another first down sponsored by R&B Car Company. And Mishawaka clearly trying to pick up the tempo here because they see the clock ticking away on their season. Joe Henry and Vinny Fiacable come in on defense to give a little more bulk to that defensive line for Dwenger. Shively gives it to Donovan Snyder again, and Snyder smashing up to the 15-yard line, pickup of 7 on the play.
New Country heard from, maybe that hero we were talking about in our pregame show, somebody stepping up. Snyder's done a good job tonight.
He had 82 yards in the win against New Prairie this season.
Taylor's had a few good carries tonight.
Snyder with 58 so far tonight. It's 2nd and 3.
Caveman's still 0 for 3 passing tonight. I don't know, is this an opportunity, 2nd and 3?
Nope, they'll hand it off to Harness, and Harness lost the football, and Dwenger has it. Harness loses the football down at the 11-yard line, and Dwenger comes away with it as big Joe Henry comes up with the football. All night long, they've been spinning Harness around and going after the football, and this time they were able to get it. Watch as Harness gets spun right there, stripped of the ball by McGarry, and then Joe Henry comes up with the loose change.
First turnover of the ball game for either team. 10th play of the drive, Chuck. They really had it going, heading toward the end zone.
So from the 11, Dwenger takes over with less than 10 minutes to go in the game. Lytle hands off to Devin Tippmann. He's stuffed at the line of scrimmage, no gain on the play. Unfortunately for Chris Harness, there have been times this year where hanging on to the football has been an issue.
Let's see if his Caveman teammates can go get the ball back from Dwenger here. A couple of things about getting the ball at the 11-yard line. You're a long way from pay dirt if you're Dwenger, but you have a chance if you can move the chains to run out a lot of that clock. 9:26 left.
Caveman defense really looking for a big stop right here. 2nd and 9. Lytle lines up in the shotgun. Hands it off. Devin Tippmann up the middle. Tippmann's got himself a first down up to the 24-yard line. That's a pickup of 12 on the play for the sophomore running back, who nears 100 yards for the night.
I have him at 96 right now, partner. They lined up in a play setup that they've done all night long and passed the ball and made the deep handoff. And good adjustment there. You know, you talked about the conversation you had with their offensive coordinator before the ball game. He had all the respect in the world for Mishawaka. Knew they're going to have to call a great game.
On 1st and 10, up the middle, it's Tippmann on the carry. He's only able to pick up a yard, but he hangs on to the football, which is the critical thing for the Saints right now. You see Nick Hosier being helped up that time. Hosier, one of the quiet leaders of this team. This is a Dwenger football team. Jason Garrett told me this week he didn't think this offensive line really gelled until about the midway point of the season. They had 3 returning starters coming back, but adding in Joe Henry and Luke Wigginton changed the chemistry of that unit, and it really wasn't until about the Homestead game where they felt comfortable running the football with consistency.
Well, that offensive line certainly enjoys eating as well. That's a big, strong group of young men.
They can put away some Thanksgiving turkeys on Thursday. Timeout called by Dwenger with 7:57 to go in this one. The Saints lead it 17-6 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for 29 years. Chris Harness, all by himself down at one end of the field, hoping his defense can come up. I'm sure he feels like he's let his team down. Should not feel that way. What a remarkable career he has had here at Mishawaka. The school's all-time rushing leader came into the night with 4,304 career yards.
Terrific, terrific young man. We've been just thrilled to watch him play this year, and there's time. Caveman got him in a good situation here.
7:57 to go in regulation. Dwenger up 17-6. We can tell you that Columbus East has a 17-14 lead in its game over Decatur Central downstate. 2nd and 9. It's TJ Tippmann on the handoff. Mishawaka read the play a little bit better that time. Derek Dawson makes the tackle at the 28-yard line. Pioneer with a 14-0 lead on Adams Central. Carmel a 7-3 lead on Valpo in the second.
There'll be some great matchups next week. We'll get a chance to bring them all to you. Thanksgiving weekend. 3 games on Friday, 2A, 4A, 6A. And 3 games on Saturday, 1A, 3A, 5A.
By the way, at halftime, Bremen leads Eastbrook 21-17 in the 2A semi-state. 3rd and 6 for Dwenger. Big play here for the Mishawaka D. Twin receivers to each side of Lytle. Lytle under pressure, gets rid of it, and it is complete. What a diving catch by Griffin Eifert. He has made a couple of sensational grabs tonight. This one at the 35, good for a first down. You hear that name Eifert from Dwenger, and a lot of fans around here think of Tyler Eifert. Well, Griffin is etching his name into Saints lore with catches like this tonight.
94 yards passing for Dwenger in the ball game, 0 for Mishawaka. Look at this ball right at the first down marker.
1st and 10 at the 35. They'll hand it off again. Devin Tippmann on the carry, surges forward to the 44-yard line. Pickup of 9 on the play. And you start to get the feeling it might be the Saints' night.
106 yards rushing tonight for Tippmann. Big, strong back, good offensive line.
Mishawaka coach Keith Kinder down in front of his sideline, clapping his hands, trying to encourage that defense, which so many times tonight has looked like it's had Dwenger where it's wanted it. 3rd and long, only to see the Saints wriggle off the hook. 2nd and inches, and Lytle really draining the play clock with every play right now. He'll hand it off. Tippmann a first down up to the 47-yard line. And you talked about when Dwenger got the ball back at the 11, their ability with the long field to chew up a lot of clock. That's exactly what they're doing. They haven't even hit the midfield stripe yet, and they've taken about 4 minutes off the clock.
And they run 7 plays already in this drive. I mean, the double-figure plays, even at the fumble by Mishawaka was the 10th play of that drive. Both teams have really played well.
These two teams have had fewer possessions tonight than a Catholic priest.
Hey.
5.5 to go in the ball game. Lytle takes the play clock down to 5. Hands it off to Devin Tippmann. Fumbles, and Mishawaka has it. C.J. Fisher with the recovery, and there's life for the Cavemen. Fisher has been able to come up with a loose ball on an onside kick, and now on a fumble recovery tonight. And you'll get another look from Bethel College admissions.
Fisher heads up, sees the ball right in there.
Not exactly sure where the ball popped loose, but Fisher doesn't care. Let's see if we can pick it up. Derek Dawson had the hit that pried it loose. And after Dawson got the hit, Fisher got the recovery. So Mishawaka takes over at its own 49. With 5:18 to go, they need 2 scores.
Well, they know they can get an onside kick. They've done it.
It's going to be a halfback pass. Snyder, though, couldn't find anybody open, and then he swarmed under for a loss of 4. So Keith Kinder and Kyle Shaw try to go into the bag of tricks, and there just wasn't anything there.
And you know what? That was probably a pretty heads-up play, as it turned out, by Snyder, because he didn't throw it down there and give it up and maybe end the ball game with another turnover.
2nd and 14 now for Mishawaka. And they readily admit they are not a team built to come from behind. You see how much time they're chewing up here, just getting the play in from the sideline. Shively's going to roll out, throw, and complete it. He finds Donovan Snyder for about a pickup of 6 on the play into Dwenger territory at the Saints 49. It'll be 3rd and 8. First, Shively trying to pick up the tempo.
First pass completion of the night for Mishawaka.
Shively with Colin Fee way off to his left, but the Caveman fans trying to urge this team to hurry up. Clock is down to 4:05. Shively and the Cavemen just look confused right now up at the line of scrimmage. Shively wants to throw. Ellinger in pursuit, couldn't get him. And now Shively swarmed under at the 41. Jared Monier comes in and makes the big hit on Shively. Monier's first sack of the season, and he picked a dandy time to get it as far as Dwenger is concerned.
Well, again, this isn't what Mishawaka does well. They haven't had a prolific passing game all season. Usually they're most effective when they catch somebody by surprise. Now down 2 scores, 3:23 to go.
4th and 15, and likely the season on the line for the Cavemen. Shively to throw. Over the middle, it's intercepted. Jared Lee with the interception at midfield, and Dwenger will take over with 3:10 to go. Huge celebration on the Saints sidelines.
How about that, partner? No turnovers through the first 3 quarters, and 3 of them here in the 4th quarter already.
Lee climbs the ladder for his first pick of the year. And the Dwenger fans start to figure out the route down 69 from Fort Wayne to Indianapolis.
If they do anything other than run the ball, I'd be surprised.
In fact, they will hand it off to TJ Tipman, who gets around the right side and gets the first down up to the 35-yard line. A whole chunk of Steel Stadium sod lodges itself in TJ Tipman's helmet.
Gain of 15. 47 yards now on the night for TJ Tipman.
And the clock ticks under the 3-minute mark, perhaps for the Caveman season.
Close to 200 yards rushing now for Dwenger after having just 51 in the first half.
They really grounded and pounded here in the second half. They'll give it to Tipman again off that right side, and he squirts loose for another first down up to the 24, and you can start to see a bit of a demoralized Mishawaka defense right now.
There's a nice gain of 14.
C.J. Fisher, who had that big fumble recovery a moment ago. Blair Brown looking on. The Cavemen trying to summon up another turnover here with 2:21 to go.
TJ Tipman now with 62 yards.
Plenty of contributions from the Tipmans tonight. And it's TJ again off the right side. Running over people. TJ Tipman knocked down by Watt after a pickup of 9. It'll be 2nd and 1 at the Caveman 15. And there's a player down on the field slow to get up at about the 22-yard line. It looks like one of the Mishawaka players is hurt.
Well, no reason for anybody on this field to have their heads down for Mishawaka. They played a courageous game. I think as a head coach, you're hoping you go out and compete with a team like Dwenger and have a chance, and they did that.
Well, we want to certainly thank our TV 46 crew, because you talk about coming out here and setting up each and every week, and guys like Patrick and Tibbs and Killer Kowalski, and there's Tommy Ward doing the audio, showing Matt Kowalski how to use a microphone, Thomas Tahara doing graphics, Mike Doherty, our engineer-in-chief. But those two guys, well, they're least important guys on the crew, because there's Dean Porsmo running the camera for our 46 picks, and that guy we're going to miss desperately. That's Joe Fertina, been with us for almost 12 years, our producer and director. I said on Twitter tonight, if it's creative and we've done it in the broadcast, it probably came from him, because Bob and I aren't smart enough to come up with those ideas.
Well, we are going to miss him, but he'll be a blessing to the folks that he's going to go work for, and very talented. They'll take that great aspect with him, and
he's always welcome to come back.
A freelancer.
We've been known to use a few of those.
Yes, we have.
So 2nd and 1 from the 15-yard line. Hand off to T.J. Tippmann. He's got the first down and more. T.J. Tippmann to the end zone, just short, down at the 1. Donovan Snyder with the touchdown-saving tackle. So T.J. Tippmann now approaching the 100-yard mark for the night.
He's at 84.
And C.J. Fisher looking up at the scoreboard down at the other end, realizing that his brilliant Mishawaka football career is about to come to an end.
1:18 to go.
Let's see if Dwenger decides to try to punch it in here, or whether they just take a knee down here at the 2-yard line.
He can run 10 seconds more off the clock here.
Brendan Lytle taking his time. Lytle hands it off. T.J. Tippmann to the end zone. Touchdown, Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger. Tippmann's second touchdown of the night. And the Saints are marching into Lucas Oil next Friday afternoon.
$50 yards and 5 plays for Dwenger for the touchdown.
And now Michael Garrett on to try the extra point. And the Bishop Dwenger Saints will make the trek down to Indianapolis and play in the Class 4A state championship game next Friday afternoon at 3:30 on TV 46. Garrett's kick is up and good. As you get another look at the Tippmann touchdown from Bethel College Admissions, Bob will thank one of our fine sponsors.
TLCU Financial is a credit union serving our community since 1953 with locations in Mishawaka and Bremen. Open your checking account today and mention that you heard this ad on TV 46. You'll receive $25 when you open your account. Qualified applicants, some restrictions apply.
Big blocks on that touchdown run by Joe Henry and Alex Kolkman that time. Kolkman, an all-Summit Conference center this season, has only had one bad snap in his Dwenger career, according to his head coach.
Get ready to kick it out. I'll tell you, the Bub Funeral Chapel is here for your family and a proud supporter of high school athletics. Congratulations, Mishawaka, on a great season. Bub Funeral Chapel offers a full range of services. You can give them a call at 255-3126 or visit bubfuneralchapel.com.
Handshakes all around on that Dwenger sideline, and why not? What a job Jason Garrett's defense did tonight, holding Mishawaka to its lowest point total of the season. Filler's kickoff taken by C.J. Fisher back at the 2. Fisher looking for somewhere to run. There just isn't anywhere to go, and he's taken down at the 20 with 48 seconds left.
One of the nice things about doing so many Mishawaka games this year, partners, we've met so many terrific young people. They've been student athletes. CJ was one of those. And tonight, Sam Shively did a wonderful job here at Mishawaka. And these guys will be leaving a legacy for the youngsters to follow in the years to come under Keith Kinder.
What a job they have done. And they will put Andrew Mason into the game behind Sam Shively. And it's Mason who gets the carry and dives forward for about 5 yards here. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Folks, while you're cheering on your favorite team from the stands, know that Thor Industries is your biggest fan. As the largest RV manufacturer in the world and with 16 Thor companies in northern Indiana, we have a spot for you in our starting lineup. Visit ThorIndustries.com to get started.
So Keith Kinder will just let the clock wind down here. They will not run another play. The handshakes begin. And the Fort Wayne Bishop Dwenger Saints are headed down to Indianapolis after ending Mishawaka's season here in the Class 4A semi-state by a final score of 24-6. Now stick around. We've got all of our post-game features coming up for you next here on TV 46.
Watching the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by
The celebration continues for the Bishop Dwenger Saints as they have punched their ticket into the state championship game with a 24-6 triumph over Mishawaka at Steel Stadium here in the Princess City tonight. Chuck Freeby and Bob Nagel with you on the post-game show. And an impressive performance by Dwenger, particularly in the second half. Mishawaka seized momentum with an onside kick recovery to start the half, but that was about the last thing that went well for the Cavemen.
Yeah, you think about Mishawaka scoring that touchdown early in the game and then going for 2 after the penalty. You thought, well, they're going to score a lot more points, and they never did. That was the end of it for the night, which was really tough. Impressive tonight. So many double-figure drives by each team. Possessing the ball, moving the chains, very effective. Again, the turnovers at the end of the game. Fourth quarter we hadn't had any, and then the fourth quarter we had 3. So 2 by Mishawaka. You can't do that. And they don't throw the ball very well when you get behind, especially late in the ball game. That was tough. But I tell you what, this is kind of a game where we really slugged it out. Both teams back and forth. It almost seems like maybe one of the big uglies should get a little credit.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you dominate the line of scrimmage the way that Dwenger did in the second half, there has to be a reason for it. Maybe a guy that weighs about 310 pounds. He's the one standing by now with Bo Hunt as our IU South Bend fulfilling the promise player of the game.
Standing by with our 46th player of the game, Joe Tittman. Joe, first off, congratulations on a big victory. You guys are going to the state.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that so much. I'm excited.
One of the things that people haven't been able to do this year is shut down Chris Harness, number 2. 130 yards, usually averaging on a night. You guys held him to 50. Just thoughts on your defense.
I mean, it's a great feeling, but I mean, he's a great runner. They're all around. Their whole team's great players, and they did a heck of a job. And you know, we just came together as a whole defense, and we did what we needed to do.
Talk about this season and how you guys have come together as a group and as a team.
Well, we have 3 things: trust, unity, and toughness, and we just focus on those every single week. And I think that's really helped us to come together every game, every practice, and just come together as a team, all unified as one, 76 strong.
You guys are heading to the state finals. Say something to your fans out there about getting down there.
I'll make sure you're there. It's going to be a great game.
Back to you guys.
It's like the reincarnation of Chris Farley. He is headed to Wisconsin next year, after all.
Yes, he is.
And one of his teammates came up with the electrifying play of the game, sponsored by the electrical workers of Local 153, and that was Griffin Eifert. This catch that he made late in the first half, setting up the go-ahead score for Dwenger, was absolutely huge tonight. He had 2 players draped on him. Eifert still manages to come up with the football, and that set the table for the Saints. TJ Tippmann was able to take it in from there. That's our electrical workers, Local 153, electrifying play of the game. And it's been an electrifying season here on
really
TV
has.
46.
I'm so proud of Mishawaka for what they've done, but also Penn was a top 10 team at the end of the season. St. Joe, a couple of points away maybe from playing in this game. Marion goes to a regional. I mean, there's so many teams in the area. New Prairie had some big moments again this season. I mean, we're so proud of all the successes that their coaches and the programs have. Doing a great job with high school football here in our area.
And as we sign off here, the Bremen game's still going on. It's possible the Lions could be playing in the 2A state championship game. If they do, that's next Friday at noon on TV 46. So we certainly, once again, want to thank our terrific 46 crew. You know, when they got here today, there was a lot of snow and ice in the stands. A lot different than it was when we showed up at Rice Field or Don Bungie Field the first time this year. But these men, week in and week out, set up and deliver the product that we put on the air, and we cannot thank them enough, each and every one of them, special with their effort. So we remind you that next week on TV 46, all 6 games of the IHSA State Finals come to you live. We start coverage at noon on both Friday and Saturday and take you all the way through on Indianapolis. And then Bob Bowe and I will be back with you at Northside Gym on November 30th for the start of our high school basketball coverage. But as for now, from Steele Stadium with the Hall of Famers Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, Chuck Freeby, the final, Dwenger 24, Mishawaka 6. So long from the Princess City.